Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee. You're watching Dark Roots Creations, and this is my best of 2024. So I feel like I had a great reading year. I believe I read 125 books in 2024. And of that amount, 22 of them were 5 stars. And I really didn't feel like I had that many bad ones or lower ratings. So I'm just going to talk about the 5 stars and yeah, just let you know what they were. Okay, so I've kind of listed these by genre. So first, I don't know if I should start at the bottom with the singles. I'll start at the bottom with the singles. So first one I had is in suspense category. This was Mind Games by Nora Roberts. I read this in June. You guys know I love Nora Roberts, particularly more modern Nora Roberts. This was really good. Totally enjoyed it. I'm not gonna go back and look at what some of these are about. I'm just gonna see what I can remember off the top of my head. This one I remember was about a girl who has powers. She can read minds, and a man winds up killing either her mother or her parents, and she in her mind she sees everything that happened. I believe her aunt or her grandmother has the same gift, and she sees what happened. She feels it. She feels like all like that the guy who did it went through. She remembers he was like disgusted by the wealth that her parents had, and they didn't grow up like that. So like they were very appreciative of everything they had. And so she immediately, like, they tell the cops exactly, like, give so much detail, and they find out what happened. They lock him up. And throughout the years, other stuff happens, but throughout the years, they go back and forth in each other's minds, playing head games with each other, because they can each, when they're just slightly vulnerable, they can each feel the other one. And that becomes the bigger mind game than anything else that's going on. It was really good. Next up, I have a middle grade, and this is A Field Guide to Getting Lost by Joy McCullough. This was actually, I read this one in May. This was for middle grade May. And this one was one that I actually didn't expect to like as much as I did. And it was almost one that I hesitated on reading. If I remember correctly, it is a boy and a girl. They're stepbrother and stepsister, and they're total opposites of each other. And it was more about the relationship, about them understanding each other and getting along and helping each other with the things that they were both excelling in. It's about as much as I remember. Next one was A Cozy Mystery. This was in March for March Mystery Madness. I don't often rate a cozy 5 stars, so this one was Dating Can Be Deadly by Amanda Flower. This is number 5 in the Amish Matchmaker series. Honestly, can't tell you anything about it. Matchmaker series in general is about an older woman who is the matchmaker for this Amish community. So most Amish communities have a woman who will be the matchmaker. She just kind of sees people that would be a potentially good couple and kind of pushes them together. In this town, there's also a lot of murders that go on because the Amish aren't just as goody-goody as we think. And the woman whose name I can't remember, the Amish matchmaker woman, she has a English non-Amish friend who's her bestie, and she is just so out there on the opposite end, but somehow they work great together. And they also, not only does she matchmake, but the both of them come together to solve the murders in the town. Very good series. I enjoy it. Next book was a Christian book, and I don't know, maybe Christian nonfiction. It was called Tea Time Discipleship by Sally Clarkson. And this I read in February. This was for my Bible study group. I believe it was our renewal time that we were reading this in. And I enjoyed this one because Sally Clarkson is a woman who's used tea and fellowship to spread the word of God, but also just to be there for women and make them feel comfortable and create a community. And this book, it had some good tea recipes. It had some like good little sandwiches and stuff to go along with it. But I like how she just made it a lot of, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. It doesn't matter what your home looks like. People aren't coming over for that. They're coming over for the fellowship. They're coming over to enjoy time and spend time together. And it doesn't really matter what all of the other stuff, the surface stuff looks like. It's about just opening yourself, your home, and your time to other people. So I really enjoyed that. I actually have up on my bookshelf there. I believe it's the newest one by Sally Clarkson. It is called Life Well Lived. So I am looking forward to reading that one. I see I read this one in February, so maybe I'll read that one in February as well. Okay, now we get into some categories that had more than one book. So first at the bottom, and this is in no particular order. I think I just did it in terms of like how many books there were. So I have 2 books in the thriller category. The first one, of course, is The Next Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. I talk about this book, this author, this series constantly. I read this one in September. I'm actually going to leave a link below to my review of this book and all the books in the series. There's a prequel, The Last Mrs. Parrish, and then The Next Mrs. Parrish. I mean, if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I rave about this series. So, yeah. Second one was Unmissing by Minka Kent. This was about a couple and something happens to the wife. The husband remarries. He's kind of gotten a bad rap this whole time because, you know, they're always going to blame the spouse. And he's now moved on with his life. He's remarried or with somebody. And all of a sudden, the wife comes back. And the story goes from there. And the twists and turns in this were really good. I really enjoyed this one. All right, next is the nonfiction category. For this, I read them in November for Nonfiction November. They were 2 celebrity memoirs. First one is From Here to the Great Unknown by Lisa Marie Presley and Riley Keough, who is Lisa Presley's daughter. It's about Lisa Marie Presley. It's about her life. Her father was Elvis. Riley's her daughter, and just growing up, Graceland, her mom, her siblings, just life as, for most of the time, life as Elvis's only granddaughter. So there's a good story in there. It's sad, it's heartbreaking. There's just a lot of good story in there though. And the second one was The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. I've really just talked about these recently, but Kelly Bishop was Emily Gilmore in The Gilmore Girls. She was also Baby's mother in Dirty Dancing, and she was also a lead in A Chorus Line. I love Emily Gilmore. I always say she's my spirit animal. This was so great though to read a story of Kelly Bishop, just Broadway time, all like the opportunities, meeting the love of her life, and just enjoying her life even still today. So yeah, I just enjoyed that one too. Okay, next is going to be holiday. I had a TBR for December, and it was going to include Debbie Maycomer for Debbie December, and I had a few other plans. I threw all that out the window, just wasn't feeling it, and I wound up reading, for the most part, just novellas and short stories around Christmas and Hanukkah, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I found a bunch of stuff on Audible for free, well, part of your subscription. So I just did a lot of those. It was just such good books, and it was everything that I wanted. I read 2 larger books, and I did read an Emily Henry, which is in, nope, those were not, damn, I didn't give the Emily Henry 5 stars that I read. Probably got something else. Anyway, off topic. So I read in December all holiday books, and I loved it. It is exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed. It just went along with like the whole vibe that I had going on. So I had 3 books that I really enjoyed a lot. First one was from a series called Winter Nights by Liz Maverick. There were 4 books. These were exclusive to Audible. So, and these were Hanukkah, and it's a group of friends. Each book had like a couple getting together and some new people coming into their group, and they play this like little holiday, like white elephant secret Santa gift, but they call it something else. And then there's this big like Hanukkah party that they have at one of the houses. I really, really enjoyed the series actually. But the 5 stars I gave to was number 2, which is Bright Winter Lights, and number 3, On a Night Like This. They were also very easy to get to. I think they were like 3 to 4 hours on Audible, so really enjoyable. And then the other one, this is probably no surprise either, was Holiday Hideaway by Mary Kay Andrews. I absolutely love Mary Kay Andrews. It's about a woman who's a little bit down on her luck. She is a property manager. She's staying in this house, and the owner's family comes there, the owner of the house's family comes there, the grandson, to kind of clean it up and sell it, and they make an interaction together, and romance goes from there. That's it. I enjoyed it. Okay, then I have women's fiction, which I have 5 books on here. So first I had in April was Nantucket White Christmas by Pamela Kelly. This is part of the Nantucket Beach Plum Cove series. This one was number 3. Obviously it's a Christmas book. On here also is Nantucket Homes, which is in the same series. This is book number 8. I really love this series. The books are set in Nantucket Beach Plum Cove, and they're just, so it's a woman who, she's later in life, she has adult children, she decides to open an inn, and in her home, she opens an inn. She had thought that her husband had set them up well. He didn't, so she doesn't have as much money as she thought she did. And this was just a way to make a good income, still stay on Nantucket, and meet some people. And each book has a lot of interesting people, because then as the books go on, you start to meet people who maybe visited the inn and now they're characters in it, or they're people that already live in the town. So we're getting like a bit of romance there, but we're also just getting like a lot of like just good small town Nantucket stuff going on. And I love that. Oh, look what I had on here. In May, I did read Bright Lights, Big Christmas. I read that in May, but that's also by Mary Kay Andrews. Oh, I know why, because it was May and I was doing Mary Kay Andrews books. So I did Bright Lights, Big Christmas and Summers at the Saint, and they're actually the total opposites. Bright Lights, Big Christmas is a guy, he runs their family Christmas tree stand. They're from up north, runs their family Christmas tree stand in New York City. The father used to help. The father can't help now, so the sister comes and she starts doing it. It's her getting along with her brother, the fast pace of Christmas tree sales in New York City, the people that live in the neighborhood, the customers that they have. Such a vibe. I loved it. Even in spring, I was still all about it. And Summers at the Saint is Saint Cecilia was the name of the hotel. Cecilia or Teresa? Oh, sorry, I had a coughing fit there. I'm going to say it was Saint Cecilia's because I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And it was very for like the rich people, like the townies don't go there. A woman winds up marrying one of the owners, the family that owns it, and sorry, he passes away and she manages it. His brother's involved, and it's kind of like saving the hotel and how to move forward with that. I'm not making it sound good, but it was excellent. Love Mary Kay Andrews. And the last book in the women's fiction category is another Pamela Kelly. This was a standalone called The Bookshop by the Bay. And this was about 2 friends whose names I cannot remember, but one worked at a magazine. One lives in Cape Cod and the other doesn't live in Cape Cod anymore, but like grew up there, summers there. She loses her job and comes back to Cape Cod, and somehow working together, I forget like how the logistics of how they got it together, but they open a bookshop, and it's just kind of like a go for it, live your dreams type of story. Loved it. Also about friendship, really good. I feel like Pamela Kelly in like the last 2 years, I started reading the Beach Plum Cove series at the end of 2023, and then finished up in 2024 and have just really come to enjoy Pamela Kelly as a writer. So do plan on getting into more of her books this year. Okay, last category, and there's 6 books. This is romance, and a couple repeats. So let's start at the bottom. We have The Beach Trap by Ali Brady. This was about, two sisters, 2 half-sisters. They have the same father. They went to a camp when they were younger, and they met each other at this camp. On the last day of camp, the father comes to pick up one of the girls, and the other girl's like, why is my dad here? So they were going to be best friends. They were going to be sisters. Now they realize that they really are sisters. The one that left with the father feels very betrayed. The father now passes away, and he leaves this beach house to both of them. So this girl over here who left with her father, who grew up with her father, she doesn't want to lose this house. It was part of her family. The other one, who didn't grow up with the father, she would like to sell it because she would like the money to help take care of her grandfather, who needs some medical assistance. So it's a battle between them for that, and really just kind of trying to reconcile what happened in their past, things that actually really didn't have anything to do with them. So excellent book. Really enjoyed that one too. Next we have The Boardwalk Bookshop by Susan Mallery. Also loving Susan Mallery as well. This is about 3 women who by chance run into each other. There is a business property for rent for retail space. They all happen to get there. They can't afford it, but for some reason they say, hey, let's all 3 of us try to make this work. So it's a bookstore, a bakery, and like a gift shop, and they divide the storefront up. They all have it. They kind of complement each other. It's extremely successful. They're working together, and it's about each of them and what's going on in their lives. If I remember correctly, one was in a bad marriage, or a marriage that ended, and she's not interested in love. She's just all about sex, and I don't want to get involved with anybody. The other one is in a relationship where everything's perfect and she wants to get married and he doesn't, but doesn't want to break up. And she's just kind of like, no, this is what I pictured. And I forget what the deal with the other one was. Oh, she was a little bit older. She had been married. They got divorced. She still has a great relationship with her ex-husband. They have adult children that, like college age, and they still do a lot of things together for the kids. And now another guy, like from her past, like high school, comes back into her life, and it's kind of like, you got to kind of push this aside if you want to move forward. Such a good book. I really enjoyed that one. I started reading it in June when I was on vacation, finished it in July, and it was just a great story. Obviously, I remember this much about it. Okay, so then we have 2 Emily Henrys. I had Happy Place and Book Lovers. I read those both in February. I feel like everybody knows what the Emily Henry books are about, so I'll just leave it at that. And yeah, I know some people love her, some people don't like her, some people she's hit or miss. I've enjoyed the majority of stuff I've read by her, so take that for what you will. And last, I have 2 books by Debbie Macomber. This is both from the Heart of Texas series. One was Promise, Texas, and Return to Promise. These are part of a series. There is romance in them. It's a big part of it. Promise is the town in Texas. There's a whole side mystery that goes on, so I really don't want to get into it. But yeah, I enjoyed these. I enjoyed the series, but these 2 are definitely the 5 stars. And again, it's kind of one of those like where we add on, like we learn about the town through like a particular person, and then they become a couple, and then you like each book is about like a romance within the town. So enjoyed those very much. So that was my top books of 2024. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought of them, if you hated them, if you love them. Also, let me know what your top favorite books of 2024 were. I would really be interested. I always love to see what people were reading, what they enjoyed, and why. So I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope that you have amazing, all 5-star reads in 2025. I look forward to catching up with you guys in the new year, and I will talk to you soon. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Your support means a lot to me, and I love connecting with our amazing community. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to stay updated with my latest videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.